Hello. See, I want to say something. I have one of the richest lives on the planet. I'm not rich as such, but I can play music. I can play two instruments rather well. Which means really I just have musicality. That's a gift which I should have used better, but should have and must have and ought to are the three deceased twins of yesteryear. So then also I have a recumbent bicycle. Recumbent bicycle is like a sofa bicycle. You sit like, um, and your pedals are over here, your head is here, and then you go blah blah blah. That's your leg, and you turn the pedals out here, and your seat is ergonomic. So it's the best chair I have is my bicycle, and also. Uh, I have been not working since what was that? 79. Back then, there was a lot of unemployment. So I thought to myself, well, I could take the job that I don't want, and then somebody who does want the job will not get it. Or I could not take the job because I don't want it. And somebody who wants the job can take it. And that went on for for 20 years, actually. Because back then, unemployment was a real problem. Now it's just something that people have been trying to unexplain and to hide behind statistics that don't really include everything. And unemployment is really the global result of automation. If you automize things, if a farmer can harvest as much in an hour with a machine that he bought with a loan from the banks. I'll get back to the banks later, perhaps. As much as 10,000 farmers could harvest in a week 200 years ago, which has led to the farms becoming bigger, and also again the banks there have a role to play there. But so unemployment is a fact of life, and I know that people still talk about work. We have a saying in Danish that goes like "arbejde adler," which means if you work, you will become part of nobility, which is bullshit because um, the nobility adelen never worked. They had people doing that for them. So nobility cannot be said to be excellent because it has worked. So work does not lead to nobility. It's the same as trickle-down economy in these days. It's bullshit from the powerful people. Of course, if you have the power, you're full of bullshit. I mean, many children know that their parents can be full of bullshit. Mine wasn't really that much of that kind, which is why I have such a good life, actually, because my parents weren't fucked up. If they were, I didn't notice, so I wasn't fucked up by their being fucked up. As long as I can remember, I have been keeping myself to myself, as they say in British English. In English, I kept myself to myself. I told my parents, to my mother especially, she was at home. She was a housewife, and my father was a teacher who came home at 3, 4 o'clock latest. Latest. And so I asked my mother, could you please tell this and that I'm doing my homework so that I don't have to be, socializing. When I was 5, when I was 6, actually, when I was 6, they asked me, would you like to go to school now, or would you wait a year? And I waited because I wanted not to be in a crowded place with a lot of people, like a school. And And that is you could see that as a pity. But oh, what a pity! He's not socializing very much. But then, to me, it's a blessing. It's not that I didn't like the people. I liked them very much. I just liked even more to just do nothing at all and just wonder about what was going on. What's that? What's this? What's it? Can I go there? What happens if I take my bicycle and ride there? What's there? What's there? What's there? Not that I was courageous and bold and all that crap. No, nope. It was more like, walking around a little garden. That was quite enough. I loved people. I really did. And I loved when we were just, I remember a day we were 6, 8, perhaps 10 people. My brother's friends from down the street and lots of other people. And I remember the sound of the echo because it was a clear, cool night and the dew was forming, so the air was saturated with moisture, which means that the sound is transported easily. So I could hear this, hey, hey, oh, pass the ball, between houses. Not that there's a parcel, what's it called, villa, what do you call it? Anyway, um, I was just blessed, with everything. What is my point with all this? Well, I guess the point that I want to make is that I am blessed. I have the best life in the world, yet I haven't got a wife and kids and grandchildren. I haven't got a house and a summer house and a boat and a car. I did have a car, which I actually mostly had for the sake of somebody who needed me to drive them. I wouldn't have gotten it without that person. And, uh, well, I got this, I lost my driver's license, which was actually a blessing because at the time I was getting a little bit tired of driving friends for good purposes, but it gets a little bit old. So when I lost my driver's license, I said, "Okay, man, this is it," and I didn't actually miss it. I was dreaming about driving a car when I was a little boy, and I had a dream when I was about 40, and then at 45, I was 6. I got a driver's license, and I discovered what it's like to actually drive, and that was nice. But it's not. That's it's not like Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto Number 1. It's not that great. Not that's it was nice, especially at 1800 hours. When you drive around and everybody's sitting there watching football and eating, and the streets, the roads on the country roads take me home. No, they take me around, and there's empty. There's nobody there. You can go 30. You use almost no gas, and you have time to look around and the grassy knolls that are everywhere with bullets packed. No, that's a different story. But anyway, so I'm rich. My point is, I'm rich. Yet, it's nothing to do with money, except, of course, that I live in Denmark, where all this is possible, that I could be actually unemployed, except for 3 years of my life when I worked and tried to figure out what I wanted, which is really my problem is I don't know what I want. There's nothing that really uh, talks me into it. There's nothing overwhelmingly, what's it called? All of these, persuasive enough. The only persuasive thing I have experienced in this life was a girl when I was about 14, and when I was about 12, actually, and 13, and 14, and so forth. Women can persuade me into being really crazy. But football, fashion, not even music. I know I'm crazy and I play music, but I'm not persuaded by music. It's a wonderful thing. It's really a miracle. It's a wonder. And that yet it is not, like this is why I didn't use my talent. It's not it doesn't convince me. It's not convincing. Even music isn't convincing. I'm a philosopher. I've had the time to think. Yeah, maybe that is my point. The time to think. People have often already, when I was 14, 16, told me that I was thinking too much of things, about things, or at least the first time I may have heard this the first time when I was 23. No, I was 18 when I heard it the first time for sure. Maybe even before that, maybe 16. I'm thinking too much about things. Maybe that's why I didn't get a job. I think if I have that job, I won't be able to be me. I'll have to think about stuff like I had a job where we were just moving around things that you buy and give as presents to people for them to put on shelves, or rather put in the attic and then find and put on the shelves when you're visiting. Stuff that nobody cares about. Presents, rituals, religion, fuck that. And which is the same with work, because as one clever Danish writer once said, 90% of what we're doing we can just do without. Ebbe Kløvedal Reich. Which is true. We have a society where we produce more than we need, and we in the 50s the industrial magnates were conspiring actually to find out that they had a problem. They could saturate the market, so they wanted to find out what to do with that, about that, and so they found out they could sell the story, which had already been done 60, 70 years before, when Coca-Cola actually came up with the red and white Christmas, the red and white Santa Claus. He was, goblins were green and blue, not red. And they used the goblin as the model for this Santa Claus, Saint Nicolaus, and painted him red and white like the Coca-Cola bottle. It was a marketing thing in the 1890s, I think. So these guys in the 1950s found out they could sell a story. You don't need, they don't need 10% sugar and artificial flavors in your drink when you're thirsty. You just need clean frickin' water with, the minerals that belong in that water. If you live in Denmark, where we have groundwater, and not in the commercial country of USA where everything is bought, because everything belongs to somebody who's got so much money, he doesn't give a hoot about anything but that money. It's like a drunk guy only cares about the next drink. My point is, I'm rich, but not in alcohol, like so, como si, but I'm rich in freedom. I would like to recommend it. I would like to recommend a base income for everybody on planet Earth. And of course, that would mean that we should produce things that last instead of keeping up a sort of this cycle of destruction and not even reusing half. I heard that 1 out of 10 mobile phones in Denmark 5 years ago was recycled. And at that time they were talking about rare earth metals, which are going to be extinct, if you say, they're depleted, because we just consume them and throw them away. They end up in landfills. In Denmark, 1 out of 10. We have, well, maybe it's better now. Maybe because we begun sorting our garbage, electronics, plastic, cardboard, paper, metal, and the rest. So maybe that's better now. Really stupid, I mean. But anyway, this wealth of not joining stuff, this is what I'm advocating. The wealth of saying, I don't need that. I once learned Russian from 3 books borrowed by in the library. 3 books with tapes along. I didn't go to a teacher. You can actually, I mean, what is it with everybody joining courses? And I mean, if you're really interested in something, read about it. Get wise on it. You don't have to join and be led. You don't need that. So if you're interested in something and you don't feel like you're learning something about it, you're not interested. You're just pretending. It's for a different, an alternate purpose. I want to learn French so I can go there and blah blah blah. That's not the interest in the language of France in it as such in itself. That's you use it for a means for something else, and that's not interested in that. Then you're interested in something else. Go directly. Go directly. Do not collect $200. Go directly to the point. See, just go directly. Don't cross the river for a drink of water. Unless, of course, there's a bar there that also serves whiskey. Thank you all, and God bless. Although I don't believe in religion, God bless you. We'll have to define God just to mean that in a certain way, so I just mean it generally. God bless you. Did I actually get it stopped? No?